Clad in one of the Defense Force's strongest weapons, Numbers Weapons 4, she swoops through the battlefields with the grace of a Valkyrie. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. As you can tell from the cold open, today we are going to be taking a close-up look at Weapons Number 4. Now, there will be spoilers in this review of the weapon up through chapter 72, so if you haven't read till then, you can take this time to go check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of my book, Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, available on Indiegogo for the month of October 2022. Now, Weapons Number 4. Whatever kaiju this weapon came out of must have been a horrendous terror for the Defense Force to take down, based on its raw mobility. Weapons Number 2 was a brawler. We don't know anything about Weapons Number 3, but Weapons Number 4 was a creature of pure movement, if we can judge anything from the kaiju by the way the weapon turned out. Now, it has been nearly 28 chapters since we were introduced to our first really good look at Hikari Shinomiya that opened with those words. And we get to see, very notably, a front-facing view of her suit. And we got front-facing views of her suit from then on out. The only time we saw her from the back, she was wearing a heavy winter coat to stay warm. And we didn't really think about it because, well, positions in a manga are so dynamic. We didn't think about why we never got to see the back of her suit, but looking back, that was a very deliberate choice on Matsumoto's part. That choice to hide the back of our suit so that we could open up chapter 72 with this utterly awesome scene where Kikoru Shinomiya gets launched out of the base on a railgun. Now, there's just so much I love about this suit number 4 design, and I'm going to get into that about the railgun, but I just want to take this time to do a bit of an overview of what the Numbers Weapon 4 suit looks like. In fact, it's beginning to look like the Numbers Weapon 4 was not the halberd, that long pole arm that Hikari Shinomiya was using. It looks like that might not have been Numbers Weapon 4 at all. In fact, it looks like, from the way they're introducing this, from the way that Kikoru is using it, it looks like Numbers Weapons 4 is entirely the suit, whereas Numbers Weapon 2, Numbers Weapon 1, they all seem to be primarily the weapon, and then the suit enhances the weapon, whereas it seems like with Numbers Weapons 4, it is almost entirely the suit itself, and the wielder can use whatever, basically, polearm they want to be able to use this. Now, this is a very, very interesting choice of weapons. So, previously I thought the handle on the axe was a lot shorter than it was. That was just because the foreshortening angle we saw it at in previous chapters. But if you've listened to many of my videos, you may have heard me reference Shadiversity's videos a couple times, but Shadiversity, he does a lot of videos analyzing weapons for mythical creatures, primarily focusing on more traditional creatures from European and some Eurasian mythology, but he did what would be the best weapon for an angel. Now, he chose a spear, ultimately, because that would allow them to reach down and stab down, kind of protecting their vulnerabilities. And interestingly enough, you have here a flighted human form fighting terrible monsters, and they choose two of Shadiversity's favorite weapons to arm these characters. Hikari Shinomiya had a polearm, a halberd, one of Shadiversity's frequently mentioned underappreciated medieval weapons. And Kikoru Shinomiya gets a battle axe tapered at the ends to reduce the weight, wide and made wide at the cutting edge to give it the greatest cutting edge, with an extended handle, making it essentially a polearm. And I thought that was very interesting, that whether or not Matsumoto is aware of Shadiversity's channel, Matsumoto does appear to be bringing in a lot of the same logical design elements into the weapons for the Defense Force. I thought that was just interesting. So anyway, weapons number 4. It appears to be primarily, for all intents and purposes, the prop equivalent of a jetpack. We don't know what speed it can. It is a backpack feature. That's why we never got to see Hikaru Shinomiya's back clearly. That it produces 4 wings. 4 wings displayed out as in the same pattern as dragonfly wings. I find that very, very interesting that the wings are dragonfly wing shapes. Anyway, this appears to be able to give the wielder flight. Now, there's a bunch we don't know. Can the number 4 wielder achieve any sort of flight or gliding ability on their own without being launched? Because here we see Hikaru Shinomiya being launched ballistically from a railgun. She's literally inside a railgun bullet. And then it opens and releases her, and she's already traveling at speed with her shield activated, and then she just blasts off into space from there. So this might be one of those things. She's something like a glider, allowing her to reach a location at high speed. But once she gets there, I fear if she could get a high enough jump, she could probably glide to the ground. But I don't know if that weapons number 4 allows her to take off on her own. It might be like an albatross or one of the larger birds. They need a lot of power to get going. Anyway, so weapons number 4 is a jetpack that allows her to fly. Now, I wonder where the cape comes in that protects her legs. I'm wondering if that's a fashion feature just because it looks cool, or does it serve as some sort of necessary drag? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. The like half cape from the waist does look good. It might also be protecting her legs from the suit. I don't know. But this chapter does put something interesting in my mind. Again, I'm wandering, but this is a really fascinating subject and it keeps yoinking my mind off in different directions. I've given you the basic description of weapons number 4. It's a flighted kaiju. It is the only flighted weapon. We get that information in exposition from Uncle Baldy, her sole remaining parental figure. And this tells us that Kaiju number 4 must have been a crazy difficult Kaiju to take down if Kaiju number 4 had the mobility that the weapons number 4 indicates it had. But I want to go back and look at the wing design. The Kaiju weapons number 4, at least, is noted for its extremely high mobility. But it does not have a wing shape that would suggest a creature with extremely high speed. That is the wing set of a dragonfly. You have 2 larger wings kind of angled forward, 2 smaller wings angled back. These wings are wider about 3/4 of the way down, and then taper to an end. Again, this is the wing set of a dragonfly. They are known for attacking things much larger than them. They're known for incredible agility. Dragonflies are hunters. In their own weight range, they're super predators. They eat flies, they eat mosquitoes, and they have an incredible ability to dodge and extremely high mobility, but one thing they're not particularly good at is large bursts of sudden speed. But be that as it may, again, those are dragonfly wings. Now, why Valkyries have angel wings? Big, giant, white things, fluffy feathers, 1 wing on each side coming out of their shoulders. That is the classic image of a Valkyrie. And Matsumoto never shies away from that sort of semi-religious symbology of these ancient beings. But Matsumoto distinctly did not give weapon number 4 Valkyrie wings. Why not? Well, let's take a look at where we've seen those dragonfly wings before. Because the Wyvern had very, very classic leathery dragon-type wings. The Wyvern-type Kaiju did. And where have we seen that double layer dragonfly wing before? Because we did see it way back in chapter number 1. You probably know where I'm going with this. If you've been listening to this channel long enough, you know about my obsession with the connection between Hikari Shinomiya and the little guy, the little kaiju that started all of this by climbing into Kafka's mouth when he was in the hospital. So that is where we saw those wings originally, those weird double set of dragonfly wings. And they have that very, very specific shape. But unlike dragonfly wings that are very rounded and blunt at the wind, think like paddles, this little tiny kaiju guy has, in the position of his shoulders, 4 wings pointed, wider out. They're very narrow where they attach to the body. They get wider as they go away and then narrow again to points. This is just one more connection between the little guy and Hikari Shinomiya. And this is, again, just something that's very, very curious. Now, I have done a lot of videos discussing what I think the connection between Hikari Shinomiya and the little guy might be. Maybe he's a fragment of her consciousness, because, again, we never saw Hikari Shinomiya's body. They have her suit. They have the Kaiju number 4 suit, the same one that she used that they gave to Kokoru, which suggests that they found their body, but they never mentioned finding her body, and Kaiju number 9 could have absorbed part of her without absorbing the entire suit, which might have explained why he was so dead set on getting the suit when he came for Iso Shinomiya. But there's just these layers and layers of connections between the little guy who crawled into Kafka's mouth and Hikari Shinomiya. And this element of the weapons number 4 suit is another one of those elements. You've got those white wings, 2 sets of 2 wings. The little guy, it does appear that the larger wings were behind, but that's a fairly minor difference. So, what do you think? Is the wing setup of the weapons number 4 another piece of evidence that Hikari Shinomiya has some connection to the little guy and some connection to dragging Kafka into this? Or am I just seeing things where they are not there? Hit that like and subscribe button. Go get yourself a copy of my book, Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, available on Indiegogo, October 2022. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out. Available on Indiegogo for the month of October 2022. Monty Python meets Star Trek in this 3rd book of human absurdity. This book joins its 2 siblings in a trilogy of human madness. You can find the first 2 books, author-signed first editions, at Indiegogo with book 3, or you can go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are available to get your copies of the first 2 books. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, Book 3 in the series, available on Indiegogo, October 2022.